Welcome to the highlights episode of our series Game Changers. In the year 2022, we brought you stories of the most inspiring entrepreneurs of Rwanda, whose contribution to the nation's business landscape has changed the way its citizens and the world view the land of 1,000 hills. This episode is a one-stop portal into their stories. Stay tuned. Rwanda's entrepreneurship and innovation ecosystem sees new startups arriving on the market daily. The country has put in place strong institutions, enacted economic transformation strategies, and a strong judicial system to build a conducive business environment that enables entrepreneurship to flourish. Come with us on this journey and traverse through the world of entrepreneurs engaged in solving domestic problems with homegrown solutions across a myriad of spaces. But let's begin with those who help put the food on our plates.
People doesn't have much food, and the main problem in this world is food. Now we wanted to solve this problem using technology.
The CEO of STS, 57-year-old Nzitonda Kiegu, began his quest for solving the food scarcity problem in Rwanda over a decade ago. His vision? To empower his people to help others.
The vision of STS is to build industries from organized young people.
We started as young engineers who were doing engineering as a course. So we thought how we can use our engineering background to make innovative technologies that can support farmers.
After being introduced to the Internet of Things technology in 2017, the STS co-founders kick-started the foundation of their own patent designs for two homegrown, low-cost agro-tech devices.
Currently, we have two products in agriculture. One is called the Baza Farm, which literally means ask the farm, and another one is called Rinda Farm, which literally means protect the farm.
A remote condition monitoring and guidance system, the Baza Farm device assists farmers to deploy precision farming methods.
This Baza Farm device, it is solar powered, as you can see. It has electronic components in this box, which is capable to transmit the data online. And from this box, we have a sensor in this pipe that goes in the soil, in the root zone of the crops. So it is always monitoring the water content. We are gathering data from the farm, and the data are sent to the cloud, to the internet. So from there, farmers are accessing the information on their mobile phones, or if for those with the computer, they can access the information on the computer. So in case there is an urgency required, like a notification for irrigation, they receive a message on their phone and they respond accordingly.
Iyi tekinoloji cyangwa se iyi smart irrigation batuzaniye yatumye tudasesagura amazi, kuko mbere umuhinzi yasabaga amazi kandi adakenewe, bityo bituma n'ikijyanye n'amashanyarazi dutakaza amashanyarazi makeya yagendaga ku mazi twakoreshaga. Ukuvuga ngo muri koperative yacu cyangwa se uyu muryango wacu bakoresha amazi hano kwa Gitumba, dufite abanyamuryango 546 buhirirwa n'izi center pivot. Ariko by'umwihariko iyi technology ikorerwa ku buso bungana na hegitari 70, igice cya C n'igice cyo muri A. Umusaruro wariyongereye, wena nanjye nihereyeho ni umuhinzi. Ubu ngubu kuri hegitari imbere navanagaho toni 5, ariko ubu ngubu bigeze muri toni 6 n'igice.
When installing these technologies, it's better, as we've done, to give training to the farmers, to show them the use and how to use it and its importance to the farmers.
Technology itself, it has power to change the old practices in farming and to help farmers of today becoming the best farmers for the future.
Futuristic yet simple. Another SCS device being used by farmers in Rwanda is the Rinda farm.
Rinda farm is a solar trap. It has a lamp, ultraviolet lamp that turns on at evening and turns off in the midnight. So it attracts pest and captures it in the basin with a fraud, chemical fraud. So by reducing the pest that enter the farm, it helps farmers reduce how many times they have been spraying pest in their farms. In terms of saving, they have saved much because in the last time they said it has, like they have been spraying like 4 times a season, and now they are spraying less than 2.
Reducing the cost to small-scale farmers and improving production, currently the STS farm devices are being used by over 120 farmers covering 70 hectares of land in Kagitumba, the eastern part of Rwanda. Beyond real-time condition monitoring and pest protection, the STS group is now looking at adding another feature to their services to connect all stakeholders of the farm on one platform.
Sometimes there is someone who is abroad. He wants to invest here in Rwanda or in Africa, anywhere. He wants to invest, but he don't have time to go to visit every time because agriculture you have to visit.
In the Farm software, we are including a platform to make the farmers meet their other stakeholders, like insurance companies, banks, and other institutions, so that they approach them within the same software. And this will help them to get a good market for their products, and as well as the input agro dealers, they will be able to get the inputs at place in the same platform. That's what we are trying to push in Farm.
Precision agriculture has not been the norm for the small-scale farmer of Rwanda. But another homegrown company is paving the way in this direction with its web and mobile application, Agrigo, founded by a young Rwandan entrepreneur with first-hand experience in farming.
Usually during farming season, it's a rainy season. And it's a particular the time farmers need agronomists to educate them, to help them, assist them in how to use fertilizer, pesticide, and the other aspect regarding the farming practices. Now, if you're in an area, it is raining, you're an agronomist, you can't move, you can't cross river, and you can't reach to the farmers. Now, with Agrigo, the innovation part is a single agronomist can support 1,000 farmers remotely in respect to the weather changes or other aspects which normally could not make it possible, and in a very personalized way.
I work on platform by doing crop profile, like how crop should be planted, how farmer should be prepare his or her land before planting his crops, how farmers should harvest, how to avoid the pest and diseases on the crops.
Solving the problem of limited access to high-end markets and participation of small-scale farmers, Rwandan company Get It is attempting to bridge the vast gap between the two by removing the middlemen and by strengthening the entire value chain with improved logistical management.
We are working with the smallholder farmers. We're genuinely trying to uplift them. So formal food service distribution into restaurants and hotels, coming with extensive experience in the industry, and Rwanda's strategy around becoming a premium tourist destination. We are focused on food safety and quality of product. So that is what we are focused on, and that is why we supply all the upper-end lodges, hotels, five-star hotels.
From quality compliance as per Rwanda's domestic market to the international certifications for exports, the 8-year-old company has come a long way.
So we've pretty much complied with everything that Rwanda needs as a country in order to be able to facilitate export and domestic growing. We intend on doing a lot more value-add products. So the chilies, we won't only be drying them, we'll be blending them and milling them into a spice or a powder that can be used. The same as with the garlic, will be dried and processed into chips and powder for export. Currently chilies is our largest, which is going into India for further processing. That processing is probably going to be coming in-house within the next year to 2 years once we fine-tune the drying. So drying processing on site actually takes place at our farm. We have solar dryers which we built and invested at the farms. So we dry on site. Being solar powered and sealed units, we can actually dry right through the rainy period as well.
By advancing the scale, speed and productivity with technology, Get It has fully integrated itself with the small-scale farmers, leading to more jobs and better impact.
This large-scale impact is a result of fueling priority sectors with the nation's best minds, corrective policy measures and timely investments. Up next, we meet the founders of some very creative and leading tech firms founded and based in Rwanda.
Irembo is a software technology company, and it's a language in Kinyarwanda that means gateway. When Irembo was founded in 2014, I think the idea was, how do we create a single place where citizens can come and access any service? It was incubated by the government. It was important for this kind of innovation to grow and thrive, to really create a framework within which it can ensure its success, which is why it was important for it to be led and managed as a private company.
This had to be a partnership in one way or the other. Irembo started at a time when the government had set an ambitious goal of digitizing, of going digital with the public services.
We provide more than 120 services on the platform. And these services range from anything, things that are in civil registry, like applying for your birth certificate, applying for your driving license, applying for a passport, transferring your title deed. It's a very wide ranging of services.
As the third CEO of the company, Israel's background in impact startups served as the foundation for his connection with Irembo.
I was quite close because I was working for Zipline, which was equally doing a similar amount of work and impact across the country, but more in the health sector side of things. But similar identities as technology companies, youth-led, really making significant impact for the communities that we serve. And then, I served on the board supporting the CEO and the management team to be able to achieve their mission. And they were going through several transitions, improving the services in every possible way. My predecessor, Faith, pretty much embodies the innovation that we wanted to be able to drive here, and the team more broadly. I think she was able to build a team that is extremely driven, that is very innovative, that was able to create something very different from what it is that we knew.
By completely digitalizing social services, Irembo transformed the citizen experience, saving people time and money.
And the first step was to remove the need for a queuing experience. It's really people should get services adequately, but also it allows them to provide better services and run their other operations much, much more efficiently.
Today, more than 120 services are just a button push away for more than 9 million subscribers, and thousands of others who can access the online services through Irembo agents across the country.
Irembo kuva ryatangira gukoreshwa kuko ryaje mu mwaka wa 2015 byakemuye ibibazo byinshi. Wenda urugero nk'icyo ngiye ku giti cyanjye nakundaga kubona, washoboraga kuba wajya kureba umuyobozi akaba yakwaka amafaranga yiyongere ko bagomba gutanga, ukaba watakaza igihe cyo kujya kumureba nayo matike atuma umugeraho. Ubu ngubu rero byaroroshye. Icyambere cyo na amafaranga make kuko services z'Irembo zitangirwa ubuntu. Twebwe nk'aba agent nta mafaranga twishyuza abantu kuko hari icyo bita nka commission leta igenda tugenera kubwo gutanga iyo service dufasha abaturage. Irembo rero ryaje kugira ngo abaturage aho bari muri quartier zabo biborohere kubona za service bitabasabye kujya kuri office kuzishakayo.
When we look at it globally, I would say about 17 million transactions have been recorded through Irembo. for the past 7 years. And currently we're basically averaging maybe tens of thousands of transactions on a daily basis and maybe hundreds of thousands on a monthly.
With over 90 employees across different departments ranging from IT to marketing, Irembo embodies a youthful energy.
But again, we also feel like we are a leading company in this space, so which means we can be able to flex some way, somehow, and attract some of the best talent on the continent to come and build with us. And that means that we are a very dynamic organization.
We've learned a lot as an e-gov and e-payment tech company.
As a woman, I feel empowered as I get to bring my own contribution, collaborate with others in identifying opportunities and delivering on values that significantly improve people's lives.
So one thing that we believe in here is that we're building a product for not just Rwanda, but a product for Africa.
Given the kind of data that we handle, the kind of product and service that we provide, it also means that we build tech differently. We build our infrastructure differently in a unique manner, which also allows us to be a leading company in that sense and really creating a certain level of standard that allows many peers of ours to really kind of grow. And we believe it's one of the best contributions we can ever make to the ecosystem. What does excellent software look like? What does excellent infrastructure look like? What does the right security and data protection architecture and processes look like? And so that's something we constantly work on in every possible way. So yeah.
While the work culture at Irembo might resemble a startup's fervor, it has come a long way, carefully positioning Rwanda as a tech hub, something the next CEO can vouch for.
I first moved to Rwanda in 2020. I liked the country. When it was time to create a company, I just found it like very easy to just set up in Rwanda. It took like a day. It took like 2 hours to sign up, like to make a company, to set up in Rwanda. So it's very company-friendly, startup-friendly ecosystem, and it's fast-growing as well. So that's why.
And what was being set up was a homegrown alternative to PayPal.
It is a borderless digital bank for Africans. So pretty much making it very simple for Africans living in Africa to be able to receive payments and also make foreign payments.
Freelancers in Africa have always had issues receiving payment from abroad. So you do your job and you can't get paid because, for example, PayPal doesn't let you create an account from Africa, from various African countries.
It's because we're connecting Africa to the world financial system. So we can pretty much connect you living in Africa to someone living in the US. So I can just make a bank transfer from my US account to your US account that's domiciled in the US, but you live in Africa. So that seamless flow of funds is what people would think makes us similar to PayPal.
Payday arrived on the market when several other fintech companies were paving the way into Africa.
When you're trying to build a fintech solution for people in the diaspora that works and for Africans as well.
For a long time, we've not had these fintech companies around. So as we are growing, we expand more, we create more possibilities for people.
What we do, we first go to those countries and we study what they want to do or how they do it currently. And then we also look at pre-existing fintechs that are already there and see how they do it. And then we can start with partnering with them, just to stay compliant. And then with time, when we fully understand the compliance system and framework there, we can pretty much set up and start transacting directly with banks or with customers.
Currently registered in 4 countries, Payday's latest product is a digital Visa card.
We recently just launched our Visa card. So right now in Nigeria, especially, the cards from your bank don't work on foreign websites. So there's a cap of $20 a month. That's the max you can spend on your card every single month. So what if you want to spend, you want to buy something worth $100 or $1,000, or you want to buy a ticket that's like $1,000, what do you do? So right now we just launched our Visa cards that enable Africans or Nigerians in Nigeria to spend globally without limits.
So for African people, made by African people.
Another fintech in Rwanda is currently picking up pace to match the traditional lending market of the nation with a modern twist.
So Access is a Rwandan fintech. In simple terms, what we're trying to do, we are digitizing informal savings schemes, locally known as EB-MENA. Traditionally, especially in rural areas, you have people that come together because they have inadequate access to financial services. If you need a credit as an individual, you've got to build a whole history with the formal financial services, and sometimes they would ask you for collateral, guarantee, and all that kind of stuff. So what they do now, they create these informal savings schemes. locally known as minas. So what they do, they pull savings together, and from there they do internal lending. So we target pretty much those groups, and predominantly in rural areas, because again, beside the fact that they suffer from inadequate credit, but also accessibility is a problem. What we're doing pretty much is now trying to digitize that, to use technology and make that possible. But not only that, we are also creating what we call linkage avenues. So whereby while they remain informal, but they use formal channels. And then we link them to formal financial services. And from there, they can choose to transition organically, depending on the risk level or the appetite.
This appetite was not a well-known fact when Access entered the market.
I mean, I already knew some of these things existed, but mostly in urban areas. But then back in 2015, that's when we were hired as a consultants firm by the central bank, the Ministry of Finance, and the local NGO called Access to Finance Rwanda. So they were doing a survey to learn more about these groups. So we worked with over 30 NGOs and over, I think, 40,000 groups. So trying to understand them, and without consultancy. So we're just doing a survey, which we got paid for. I mean, I like to say it's pretty much a market analysis that we did, but also got paid for it. So that's what informed the inception of our product, which is SEV.
Despite having worked with NGOs and government agencies, the startup soon needed a game plan for sustaining rigid mindsets and light pockets among its users.
But by the time we're done with the product, we had run out of money, because we had to, when we started working on the product, we stopped. So we stopped any consultancy service just to focus on the product. But then by the time we were done, when we had an MVP, that's back in 2018, early 2018, we had run out of money. So, and no NGO, because again, remember, primarily NGOs are working with these groups, was willing to pay for it. So that was a challenge. And how did we solve it? Obviously we went around, talking to different potential investors, And that's how we came across one Japanese investor who put in like a pre-seed investment. I think he put in 50,000 USD. So we used that money to run a pilot. With the hope that at the end of it, NGOs, because at the end we're like, NGOs, it's okay, let's just do a pilot. If you like it, then you're going to pay for it. If you don't, then no loss for you. So that's what we did, and yeah.
Since 2018, Access has been able to garner over 100,000 subscribers, upgrading their system from informal to formal, while still complying to their traditional model.
Because they've seen the importance of these groups, and the same applies not just in Rwanda, by the way, it's across sub-Saharan Africa. And for me, success is how many lives are you able to really transform? And currently, we are not even close. We've got over, 100,000 users in a country of 12 million, so that's just a drop in the ocean. So the moment we are here impacting, 5+ million lives, then that's what I would call success.
Transformation is central to Rwanda's vision, and thanks to innovation, among others, another homegrown tech company called QT Global Software is making waves in the sector.
We're fast-tracking digitization in Rwanda. And our company is primarily made up of 95% of Rwandese. And our goal is to provide excellent services and export this to the globe.
The service in question is essentially data management.
Data management is, I know it's cliche, it's been called the new oil. However, it is a new oil. And oil, for instance, is converted into used in combustion engine. So it gets into cars and it allows people to get to their destination. So with data, it's a very similar thing. It allows people to achieve their goals and get to where they want to get to, utilizing technology. We also do digitization for the healthcare sector as well as the justice sector. So in 2019, we developed our event management system. It was then used for smaller scale projects and smaller events with few people. Since then, it has grown to over 200,000 people have come and used our system, including most recently CHOGM for the heads of states. Over 6,000 people utilized our system successfully.
Technology companies in Rwanda have found success in aligning their vision with that of the nation. Founded in 2016, AC Group, a homegrown tech firm, set out to transform Rwanda's public mobility sector.
So it was a mix of two key stakeholders. So there's the commuter and the bus operator. Both of them had gaps. From a perspective of the commuter was they never knew what their fare would be that day. So planning was difficult for them. Fares would go up. If it rained in the evening, peak hours had different times. So this way you kind of have a static fee fare. So you can, if I'm a commuter, I can plan, my finances better for the month, my commutes, my daily movements around the city and across the country. And from the perspective of the bus operator, there was a problem of visibility. They relied heavily on what we call conductors. So they're the ones who receive the fare from the commuter at the time.
To improve transparency, AC Group introduced a cutting-edge service called Tap and Go.
Tap and Go, the name is in the actual motion of what you're doing. You're literally taking a card and you're tapping it and you go. That transaction I just described would take anywhere between a minute to 5. You have to take cash and you have to ask how much am I paying for this trip, look for change, wait for change, and now it's seconds. You literally just tap your card and keep moving.
With technology becoming central to the way of life in Rwanda, tech incubators in the country are shaping the latest talent to meet its growing demands. One of them, Fab Lab.
Fab Lab Rwanda is an innovation space or lab where entrepreneurs with ideas, they come, then we help them to have viable products, to have real products. I mean, from ideation to prototypes.
Our main objectives to create innovators, entrepreneurs.
The good part of Fab Lab is that it suits anyone from any part of studies. You can be in science, you can be in anywhere. Just if you like it, you can just join the lab.
Along with running mentor programs, Fab Lab, an international non-profit tech incubator, also offers several trainings at the center.
Fab Academy is a variety of courses. So there is programming, there is engineering, there is mostly in terms of manufacturing. There is molding and casting, there is electronics, there is embedded programming, there is documentation, so because you have to document your project. So there is website development, because you have to develop your website before you start a course. So there's a lot of things you learn to that, which makes you with this person who can always help people in different industries.
In line with Rwanda's vision, Fab Lab is focused on driving the nation's manufacturing revolution.
So manufacturing is so critical because as the government mission is to have our own products, not depending on international market. So we have to work together as a whole, Rwandan, mostly from the young people. The government has helped us to get this lab and also to get the capacity building from the top universities worldwide, where we get a Fab Academy course where we learn to make almost anything. And what we need is like keeping innovative ideas here and giving them value, and mostly checking the most needed part or the most challenging projects in our community.
We teach, we give skills to the future makers of Rwandas.
Almost a decade ago, a team of Rwandan engineers stepped into a highly contemporary tech space, mainly dominated by nations outside of Africa, drones.
It started obviously as the idea of just young guys interested in flying object, but quickly we started realizing that what value can we add in terms of all the industry we are involved in, and we found that obviously drones are just a tool.
A tool that could be enhanced into a powerful source of information technology.
People are interested in what you can do with the data because data, even though you can collect a lot of data with the drone, the processing behind it to turn that data into intelligent information, we found that we are a company that really removes the complexity that comes with the digitalization of our physical world. We make it simple so that anyone, engineers, decision maker, can use this intelligent data and being able to provide or make decisions based on intelligent data. We have a big team behind that process data for various organizations.
Once the company took off as a leading intelligence service provider, new hiccups followed.
We've had a lot of experiences where we'll fly drones and then we had to send them out of the country for maintenance sometime, and that will create a lot of downtime from our side.
It's also coming on the back of the other company, Caris US, which is service-based, still on drones. And so a lot of momentum built with that company is now translating into Caris Labs as well.
Building upon Caris UAS, the need to cover gaps in the market led to the creation of the Rwandan drone, Ikanji.
Our drone Inganji is a very peculiar one, and one coming up with the concept was based on the experience that we had with different drones. And one of it was mostly the major challenge on multi-rotors is the flight time. So we had to come up with a concept where of course, that involves coming up with the design, having lightweight materials. For example, we have on our drone Inganji, we use carbon fiber, which is a very strong and reliable material, yet quite light, right? And very, very much efficient, and which can last longer in terms of flight time. And we've tested it and we've found it to fly more than 1 hour, which is something that most multi-rotor drones cannot do.
Indeed, doing what others can't do best describes the Rwandan spirit. After all, the nation has pulled itself out of economic, ethnic and political turmoil within a span of only 3 decades. And today its citizens look toward a bright, promising and sustainable future, another critical and admirable policy reform undertaken by Rwanda's leaders across all its functions and implemented through its innovation and environmentally conscious entrepreneurs. Have a look.
Rwanda has recognized the importance of innovation as the solution to the negative impact of climate change by committing to the Paris Action and commitments towards a green and climate-resilient economic growth model. Among its green actions, Rwanda is paying deserved attention to its construction and building sector. And to tackle this domestically, ADHI Rwanda provides green certified affordable housing in Kigali through sustainable construction methods and materials.
There is not miracle. What we came is that we put together a lot of innovations that were there, but we adapted the African mentality. We manufacture 70% of our houses. And what we are trying in Rwanda, with the government of Rwanda, to come with a solution that not only is affordable, but also sustainable.
ADHI Corporate is a construction company established more than 10 years ago in Gabon. It expanded into the Rwandan market in 2020 after recognizing Rwanda's strong stance towards achieving sustainable development through green tech.
A country first of all open on innovations. So whoever has an innovation and wants to express himself in Rwanda can find a land that can help. Government incentives are very important in order to lower the prices. You have to give incentives on customers, on future income taxes. The government is making everything possible for any developer to be in a situation that he doesn't feel that he is alone. Africa must be built by Africans. no one can come to impact you in your house. So the solution must come from African developers.
ADHI plans to construct more than 2,400 housing units in Kigali in 5 phases. The first phase, currently under construction, will see about 250 units complete by mid-2023. This will boost the government's goal for urbanization at 35% by 2024.
The project is divided into 2 sectors. There's the infrastructure and the housing. And the housing part has 5 phases, which hope to deliver almost 2,300 homes, but they're divided into 5 phases. The 5 phases is approximately 250 houses, of which we're executing now, and are going to be delivering it next year, maybe by March, April. The infrastructure involves actually more of roads, wastewater treatment, utilities, which require the sewer, irrigation, landscaping, potable water, and storm.
The sector's operational energy-related CO2 emissions increased 5% over the 2020 levels and 2% over the pre-pandemic peak in 2019. Joseph breaks down for us further what they are doing differently to decarbonize the sector.
Right from the foundations, the finishing of the houses are environment friendly. We are using steel. Steel can be recycled to make another product. We are using plastic to do the foundation. It can be recycled. When it comes to retaining walls, we are not using stones. We are using geosynthetic materials. It's also very friendly. It's green. We are using the natural soil to build back the retaining walls. We are using electricity to build structures of houses, and we are using light concrete, which is the plastic polytherm, to do the light concreting. In that way, we are using only 20 to 35% of cement. The rest is natural things we are using on the side. So basically, we can say that 60% of the material we use, we are manufacturing by ourselves. The 40% we import and transform, then we can use on the project. It has 0 waste of materials and it's environment friendly. And it's easier to use.
In addition to the affordable homes, ADHI corporates alongside the government of Rwanda have established a training academy for students who receive on-site competence-based training to prepare them for future employment opportunities.
With the government also, we created an academy that train our workforce that will be employed after by us, but a certification also that it is well recognized also on all Commonwealth. So in the future, Africa maybe can export also a workforce, because everywhere workforce is needed.
Kwitonda Sergio, a fresh graduate from the University of Rwanda with a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, is passionate about construction, and he joined the academy because he has a strong sense of responsibility towards reducing emissions.
I was observing the challenges we are having, the impact our industry is making to the environment. It will create more jobs because is more faster, first of all. That means sometimes, projects sometimes when you are using conventional materials, you can build a house within a month or 2 months where is not even 1 story, just a single dwelling. So, in fact, we're using these steels. We will not depend on any season. Means you'll be always working. Meanwhile, this new technology, we are likely that is being trained to the youth, young people. They are the one who knows it. It means they are the one who are going to implement it.
Indeed, more young people are at the forefront of tapping into the green economy, Africa's fashion and textile industry is the second largest sector after agriculture, with an estimated market value of $31 billion in 2020 and growing annually. The increased production and consumption of fashion has serious and long-lasting environmental impacts. Globally, fast fashion contributes an estimated 10% of global CO2 emissions annually. In Rwanda, Motions, a homegrown sustainable fashion brand, taps into the opportunities present.
Fashion really is among the industries, among the five first industries that are polluting in the environment in the world. This comes from the mass production, the non-adequate production, the dirty production, how I called, and now the business of fashion has been also identifying some that we looked at as role models, brands or initiatives as part of this craziness, chaos. This is the journey we are on. Bring this awareness to the buyer, to the directly buyers, our clients, our environment, our country. It's a lot of investment, but it is really worth it for the sake of the future.
Green investments in Rwanda are not limited to any sector. Over the past decades, governments have transformed their economies into drivers of sustainability. To ensure that green growth are core principles in Rwanda's future growth and development, in 2012, the government of Rwanda partnered with the Global Green Growth Institute for inclusive, climate-resilient green cities and infrastructure development.
One of the key roles that we play in such our approach to work as a trusted advisor to the government is to ensure that issues related to green growth, climate action, is not seen as an afterthought. So Rwanda happened to be one of those countries that started prioritizing mainstreaming climate action and green growth into its policies, strategies, and implementation.
The GGGI team is supporting the government in its transition towards an inclusive green economy through different projects.
Urban planning, how do you design a master plan that is sustainable? How do you think about the people when it comes to how your cities are, developed? And we are not only doing this at the national level, but we've done this at the subnational level with the 6 secondary cities, and now we are also expanding to the new satellite cities that are set up in Rwanda.
One of the projects GGGI is working on is Waste to Resource. This aims to improve municipal solid waste and hazardous waste management in the country.
The project aims to introduce and integrate circular economy approaches to the way that we treat waste. So we're really trying to work with a multitude of different types of stakeholders so that we can reach not only at the household level, but also the waste collecting companies, as well as capacity building for some of the large-scale waste producers, such as commercial buildings, hotels, and those types of stakeholders.
There is a growing recognition of potential economic benefits of applying a circular approach to urban organic waste management. However, data on the estimates of the quantity of resources and the potential market value is still limited.
So at the moment, since we're halfway through, we've done a number of assessments looking at gender, but also a baseline for e-waste generation and some of the opportunities for investment. What are the capacity needs for the different stakeholders in the sector? So the impact will be that we can have a better understanding of what is entering the dump site, the different waste streams, what can be valorized, what can be reutilized, and ways that we can process that.
From changing consumption patterns to making important employment choices, green pathways are opening up, and young people now have the opportunity to reimagine work in the green economy. GGGI works with the Rwanda Greenpreneurs Network to further equip them.
Our role as an organization is to mentor, to capacitate these young entrepreneurs, first to understand what it means to do a green business model. That mindset shift is really important for one to not only look at the challenges from the financial aspect, but also from the capacity point of view.
Janvier Uwayezu saw a gap in the agriculture sector. In 2015, when he was still at the University of Rwanda, he alongside 3 other students partnered to start the Rwanda Biosolution Limited, a company that provides affordable and restorative organic fertilizer by leveraging one of the most efficient and readily available resources, organic waste.
When we were back to school, we were finishing, and me and my friends, we attended one meeting. It was about chemical fertilizer usage in Rwanda, and at that time and still today it's very high. So we were thinking, what can we do as a graduates in science and public health to do that? And the idea came that we can do organic fertilizers. We work from the Nyamata landfill, and it take waste from the Nyamata and all around. We get like 4 or 6 trucks per day.
Biosolutions Limited collects waste from the neighboring area and converts it to organic fertilizer.
Faze ya mbere cyangwa se icyiciro cya mbere ni igihe imodoka ibizana bivangavanze, tugashiramo abakozi bagatoranya ibibora n'ibitabora. Iyo ni faze ya mbere. Tukabirunda, twamara kubirunda tukazana icyo bita EM na meras. Meras ni ibisigazwa cyangwa se ni produit isigara iva ku ruganda rw'isukari, tukayishira hamwe na ya product yacu ya EM, effective microorganism, kugira ngo twihutishe kwa gushwanyaguza cyangwa se kudekompoza bya bindi byacu bibora, bya bishingwe bibora. Twarangiza nabwo tukabyinjiza mu nzu aho tubiyungururira. Iyo nindi faze yindi. Twatangira tukayungurura, tugakuramo hari uduparasitike tuba twagiyemo, ibirahuri, ibyo tukabishira ku ruhande. Hanyuma tugapackaging bitewe n'ibiro umuhinzi wacu azaba akeneye.
We have made estimations that for every kilogram we spend around 28 Rwandan francs. So with the packaging it can go to like something like 35. Then we sell it to 50.
Comparing to the chemical fertilizer, the organic fertilizer creates economic and environmental benefits which can improve soil health, reduce erosion, and improve water quality.
The industrial chemical fertilizers, they are very efficient. You plant today, tomorrow it's big, it's better. But at the time's gone, your soil start depending on it much, and it's no longer good. So in long run, chemical ones are not good. Yes, you can profit a lot, but you are not really contributing to the society.
From waste to wealth, green construction and buildings to sustainable fashion, Rwanda's holistic approach to a green future gets closer every day, and its economic benefits become wider every quarter, making the country a global game changer in its own right.
That was a recap of what we brought you from Rwanda in 2022. We will soon be launching a whole new set of series from the land of 1,000 hills. Follow us on Twitter, Instagram or Facebook, or tune into our channel to keep track of what's new on CNBC Africa this year. Catch you soon again. Goodbye for now.